Hi everyone, welcome back. Before we get started, I want to do a quick explanation. In the last video, I got endless questions and comments regarding this porch and this porch being separate by this gap. The meter base is right there. I'm just not going to get into moving all that. I can't do something like go around it and leave it in there with a hole cut in there. It's just not going to work. So this is a quick solution to get an appropriate entrance here that you can go up and down and, better than the little concrete steps over there. It gives it handrails, access over to the driveway. Also, this porch and this porch, they're not even. This one right here being concrete and having issues. I don't feel like redoing it right now, but I may redo it in the future. So I wasn't going to do some big thing now. Also, people saying this roof should extend over past that. It's just, you're getting into huge, massive projects just to basically have a way to walk out of this door. So it's just two entrances. And again, like I said in the last video, it's really not that big of a deal. There's the bushes once they've leafed out here in the springtime. So in one of my videos I said something about, they look bad in the wintertime, but in the springtime they look decent. So, you can imagine these shaped up and keep them as big or as small as you want. Access into here, you can just walk up in there. They're flexible with code stuff when things already exist a certain way, like the meter base was there, the door's here. They'd rather probably have a handrail there than not have a handrail there. And there's got to be a way to get out of here so it's close no matter what. So it's just the way it is. So that is a quick explanation. As far as what we're doing today, I'm going to finish up the caulking and paint the ceiling. And I decided to paint the ceiling blue because that's what everybody's been saying. And sometimes I get a lot of suggestions and I don't go that route, so I didn't want y'all to think I just don't care about what you say. And I don't really have a preference as far as color goes, so we're going to do it a nice shade of blue. It's going to be in a solid stain is the finish I'll be using, so I had to go with the limited colors that they have, but I think it's nice. It's not like a super baby blue, but I think it's kind of classy looking. And I haven't decided yet whether to go paint from here or paint from, paint this as well blue, and, whether or not to do the band, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. Let's get started. I'd like to thank and welcome Morning Brew, the newest sponsor of the Homemade Home YouTube channel. Morning Brew is a free daily newsletter coming to you every single day of the week, gets you up to date on business news in just 5 minutes. Again, it's completely free and takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. Many of us wake up reaching for our phones only to look at random stuff and in turn waste way longer than we would ever admit. Cut out the boring junk and condense your morning screen time to 5 minutes. In a recent newsletter, I read about Elon Musk's Neuralink, where a monkey was able to control a simple video game via a chip implanted in its brain. This technology could one day allow people to control phones, computers, and other technology with their brains versus their hands, meaning a paralyzed person could one day regain a level of independence and freedom otherwise not possible. There's no reason not to subscribe to Morning Brew if you're interested in business, finance, or tech. Again, it is completely free and takes less than 15 seconds to subscribe. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to Morning Brew today. I'm going to continue painting today, transitioning to white, and that's going to be trim around the doors, the columns, and the handrails. Yesterday I did this, and the thing I'm not sure of is whether or not I want the wall portion of this to be blue. I think it's decent looking, but it looks like someone with a good idea that didn't maybe quite execute it right, and maybe it should have been painted white up to that. Reason being, I feel like visually speaking, this is bringing the ceiling back down to the same level it was, even though it is vaulted. And if this was painted white, it would make this angle more apparent. So I think it might just be kind of a classier look as well if the white just transitioned from this siding into this paneled siding and went up high. I'm not sure yet, so I'm just going to start by painting the columns and the handrails, think about it, and then maybe do this last. There's the rails, columns, and trim painted, and of course the blue on the ceiling. Still have my decision to make of whether or not I want to paint the wall white or just leave it as it is painted blue. I wasn't going to paint these two handrails here because it was looking like I might get some rain, and I think we still will, but I think I've got plenty of time to let that paint get rain ready. Still need to paint the little bit of trim around this door here, and then put up the storm door over that if I do go that route. Let's swoop in for a closer look. There's looking up into the ceiling. So again, the question is, do I keep this blue or paint that white? And I think that visually it would make the ceiling seem a lot taller if I did paint it white. Although where it is painted blue right now is a very easy and natural transition to stop painting, so I'm not sure. Let me pop off the tripod real quick. So it is just so much brighter looking now. So clean looking. But it's again, it's all very simple. It's just some treated bases, and then the 2x8 columns. Box columns I made up, dipped the bottom in a preservative, and then 2x4, 2x6 handrails. Then everything caulked and spackled. Then the ceiling is just luan and strips of pine. So all very simple And then with the ceiling being vaulted, I've got that room for a ceiling fan. And you can imagine the vinyl replacement windows and trim. Then the floor painted, and you've got a cool little front porch. And again, meters there, so there's this little bit of separation. That's all the painting I'm going to do for now on the main porch and up in the ceiling. Y'all let me know what you think about that blue wall, and then what you think I should do with this little porch here. I'm not sure if I should just do the same treatment, or just since it's separate, leave it separate. Still need to do my storm door. Since I've got everything looking nice and spring has hit, I'm going to go ahead and do some weed eating, grass cutting, and trim up the bushes just to kind of get it looking good. Well, that is going to wrap things up for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. It may not have seemed like all that much work, but painting all this with a little roller and a brush and some of the other things to kind of get things ready, going to pick stuff up, it really all takes a lot of time. I get a lot of questions about why is this project taking me so long. While it's a big portion of what I do, working on houses, filming on videos, it is far from the majority of everything that I do. So you add up all the other stuff that I do combined, and it far outweighs what I do working on this house, making and editing videos. So I have lots of projects. I've got a whole big garden I'm doing. I'm building some other building. I've got furniture projects. I have a family. I've got a lot of stuff that I have to do. And then I do all the stuff just your everyday average person's doing, like getting your taxes together and all those types of things. So I think that my channel, what I'm doing, it's very representative to how I think the average person would go about real estate investing, and that is just fitting it in when you can. That means financially, that means time-wise, everything about it. I think it is, again, just a very realistic look into it versus the professional investor that's all they do, hiring out jobs, banging it all out as quickly as possible. I don't put that pressure on myself. I'm just kind of getting it done when I can. With that said, yes, this is taking a very long time, but I have had a lot of milestones in my life occurring throughout the time of filming this video. We're getting a jet right now. It's going. But so all those things, again, but that just goes back to, so will you. If you are a young person and you get into doing this type of thing, you buy your first house, and let's say it takes you a couple years to get it together, there's a very good chance that you're going to go through some of these major chapters in your life throughout that time. And those things, you know, they're not bad. They're just steps that you requires a certain amount of time. So that is the answer for why things take me so long. Also, I am doing these houses, but while I'm working on these houses, my main goal is making videos, breaking this whole thing down into steps. I have to work on the house when I can film, so sometimes I could work on it, but I might not be able to film for some weird reason, and I don't do that. I wait until I can film things, and so that really draws things out. Now imagine everything you're doing, you're also filming it, so that's slowing things down. So But again, I still think that it's fairly representative of the time that it's going to take someone, especially your first go around trying to do something like this. A house like this, if I was working on it full time, no family, no distractions, no videos or anything, I still think it would take one person probably 4 to 6 months. And I've been working on this house for 3 years. But again, that is with an enormous amount of stuff. And I work on so many projects that have nothing to do with anything I do on any of my channels, just for fun. I like to have a good time and not turn everything into the pursuit of a dollar. It's very tricky for me with doing this type of stuff, being self-employed. I'm very financially oriented as far as pretty much everything I do, I end up putting some sort of income slant on it. But again, I still like to try to do what I want. So even when it is a financial advantage in what I'm doing, I still like to make sure it's something I just want to do in general. What that means to me in the future, and I know I touch on these types of things and I ramble at the end of my videos, but what it means to me in the future is anything you start at first, I think it has an element of novelty. And for me, the house has definitely had a novelty. It felt like such an achievement to buy my first house. Now I've got more houses than I have time to work on. So when I buy another house, it's almost just like this, oh gosh, I got to do a whole nother house now. It's not even a big deal. And when I say it's not a big deal, I mean it's relative to your experience. So it is a big deal. Like any of the houses I've bought is a huge deal to someone that's doing it for the first time. And it was for me the first time. First house I bought was $5,000, and you would have thought I bought a castle or something. It was just a massive deal to me. Now I feel like, really it was after I probably bought my first or either the second house, I realized buying houses is just like buying used cars. It's really no different. It's kind of one of those slightly bigger purchases, but it's really no different than anything else. It just involves paperwork. So don't be intimidated by it. As far as getting a house, what you should be intimidated by is getting yourself into a project this big. So moving forward, I would like to do projects that are less daunting as this one for many reasons. I think that it would make for a more entertaining videos. This has been drug out so long that I think a lot of people see me get to this last what I'll call 10% of this project, and the last 10% just seems to take forever. It's like you kind of cruise through it, and it looks like a lot of big stuff's going on, and then you just get tied up in all this really nitpicky stuff, and there's like thousands of small things you have to do, and it just takes so long, then all of a sudden you're done. But yeah, don't want to get too sidetracked. Questions for y'all are, what do you think of the wall part being painted blue right there? I really will paint that white if I feel like I should, and enough people say so. Then also the porch over here, do I do the handrails white? It's kind of open. I'm going to put the storm door over that door to protect it. I don't know for sure. Other things I'm going to do is probably put a some sort of a stain on the steps themselves, so the kicks are white. And of course that stuff's going to get dirty. And then if you look at some of the paint job, you'll kind of see that it's a thin coat, but it's a solid stain. It doesn't require primer and all that. It just goes on bare wood. So I'm probably not going to actually paint that twice, because this is going to end up getting painted again. And so I don't want to just build up this endless coats of paint. So it looks, it looks decent for now. So I think I'll go with that. And then the next time it gets painted, it's going to look even better. Not sure what else to say. Next up, I really need to figure out the concrete in the basement. I need to go around and make sure all the electrical is done. I've got a few plumbing things to wrap up. Check framing. I need to put up all the little nail guards over the plumbing and the electrical, and then I think I'm ready for an inspection. And this is a great time of the year, I think, to get an inspection. It's good temperature, things are pretty. I'll have everything just looking as decent as I can before they show up, versus it just being a total mess and just putting them in a bad mood as soon as they walk in. I think that always helps. To have a really clean environment when the inspector comes. Now, of course, just because you have flowers in a vase and music playing when he shows up, he's not going to pass a bunch of bull crap. But it does make a difference, like it does in anything else, to make a pleasant environment. So that's it for now. Thank you all for watching. Thanks again to the sponsor, Morning Brew, and I look forward to seeing y'all again in the next video.